Good afternoon. I'm Dennis Galucki. Welcome to the 577th Imagine Greater Buffalo program and our 198th YouTube production hosted by a very special downtown Buffalo and Erie County Public Library. Thanks for joining us today. This program is created by the Center for the Study of Art, Architecture, History, and Nature, or C-SAAHN as I like to pronounce the acronym, and imaginelifelonglearning.com. Now, before we get started, just a little housekeeping. Everyone watching will be muted and your video turned off. If you have a question or comment, please type it into the chat box and we'll go through them at the end of the presentation as time allows. We are recording this program, so you can watch it again later on the Downtown Central Library's Facebook page and YouTube channels. And please, we certainly hope you share the link with others. Now, on to our featured speaker. Joining us today to discuss Hi-Vis celebrates AKG's commitment to public art is Zack Boehler, the Assistant Curator of Special Projects at Buffalo AKG Art Museum. Zack joined the Buffalo AKG Art Museum in 2017 as Public Art Project Coordinator. In this capacity, he worked to broaden the scope of the AKG's Public Art Initiative to include internationally recognized muralists and artists. Zack worked closely with museum staff to help realize the exhibition Swoon, 7 Contemplations at the museum's temporary site, the Albright Knox Northland, and the exhibition Sarah Brayman, Finding Room at Frank Lloyd Wright's Graycliff. Zack received his Bachelor of Science and Master of Science degrees in art education from Buffalo State. He has held previous positions at the Ashford Hollow Foundation, Griffith Sculptural Park, and Big Orbit Gallery's Sound Lab. During his graduate work, Zack was selected as a SUNY Fellow. He maintains his studio practice as well. Now, right off the bat, we're going to hear about something unique here in Erie County, unique in the entire USA. So let's hear about it from Zack Boehler. Zack, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Dennis. I'm just going to bring up my slides. Great. Okay. All right. Thanks for having me today. Excited to be here. Thanks for that intro, Dennis. Yeah, my name is Zack Boehler. I'm assistant curator here at the museum. I focus on special projects. I'm from Western New York originally, and was in New York City for quite a long time. But about 9 years ago, got the opportunity to come back home to Buffalo and be part of this really unique and really special public art program we're going to talk about today. So first, I always like to start off any conversation with a picture of the museum. We just underwent a massive expansion. We've been open again for about 2 years, where we built the new Gunlock building. And that builds on this very long legacy. The Buffalo AKG is the 6th oldest art museum in the country. It is the oldest art museum dedicated to collecting what we call the work of our time. So what that means is basically since 1862, we have been buying and collecting work being made at the time by artists. And we continue that practice today. It's allowed us to amass one of the greatest modern and contemporary collections in the world. And we're really proud that that is in Buffalo. As special as the museum is, though, when you look at some of the architecture, this is from our 1905 building. When you look at a museum, there are a lot of visual keynotes that might make some folks that live in the region not feel as welcome in this space as others, right? These big marble pillars, these things that kind of denote that this is a place for a higher class, an educated class, things like that. And our philosophy at the museum really is about trying to welcome anyone who's interested in art into our buildings. And part of the way that the museum had decided to do that was through our public art program. So our program was founded in 2014. It was the brainchild of our director, Janne Sarin. Janne is from Finland. When he was in Finland, he was the director of the Helsinki Museum. He held a bunch of government positions in the arts. And the Finnish and most of the Scandinavian nations require their institutions to not only do artwork inside of their buildings, but to offer some level of public art. When Janne came to the US to take on the directorship here at the Buffalo AKG, he was wondering who kind of dealt with public art, and there was no one on staff. So Janne embarked on a plan that he, I don't even think, realized at the time was super unique in the United States. We are the only museum, still to this day, that has a public art program that operates in our greater civic region. By that, I mean that we operate in the entirety of Erie County. So the 1,000 square miles plus that make it up, that is our operating jurisdiction. And that's really a result of our initial partner in this public art initiative being Erie County and Mark Polenkars. And then later in 2015, the city of Buffalo also joined. And so those three partners, the AKG, the city of Buffalo, and Erie County, make up the public art initiative. And we, at this point, have executed, this slide's even a little outdated, it's 80 projects and nearing 100 artists at this point since we founded. Now looking back, thinking back to that image of our building, and saying that this space may not feel welcoming and friendly to everyone, the real goal of our public art initiative is to, of course, humanize the built environment, right? Bring art out into the public for everybody. But a real goal for the museum is to use the public art initiative as a way to really build vested relationships with our communities. If we feel that if we're bringing an artist to the region or we're working with a local artist and we execute a project in a neighborhood, by spending all of that time there and really getting to know the members of that community, we hope that builds a bridge where they feel really welcome coming and visiting us here at the museum. And one of my favorite parts about what we do, and something I'm personally very passionate about, is the museum's mission of being artists first. And we carry that mission into public art as well. But what that means is our baseline mission for existing is to support artists and help them realize their artwork. And as you'll see in the next few slides, in public art, that is a very fun endeavor. So when we're thinking about projects, we break them down a few different ways. And I'm just going to run through a couple of our major public art pieces. This is a piece by Louise Chenz Jones. She's based in Detroit. She also goes by the name Wheezy, which is what's painted on the wall there next to her flowers, her signature. This is a giant building downtown. It is right across the street from the Downtown Central Library. The best view of it comes from the entranceway there at the library. And this is a project that comes from one of the main pillars of how we think about our public art. This is a project that really is curatorial in nature. We as curators like this artist. We thought that she would make an excellent addition to our landscape here in Buffalo. She's nationally renowned. We wanted to bring that type of talent to the region. And she executed this mural. Now, just because she's national doesn't mean that we don't directly try to tie it to the region. Obviously, this building was a perfect home for this piece, but these flowers that she depicts here are all regional. These are flowers that she researched and made sure were proper to place in a buffalo landscape. A few other projects that I just always love to talk about that are very similar to Wheezy, where these were just kind of curatorial endeavors. The one on the left, this is Felipe Pantone, probably one of the kind of hottest artists on the global scene right now. He is based in Valencia, Spain. We are really lucky that we got him when we did, and that he was willing to come to Buffalo. Now, I don't think his schedule would probably permit. And the real reason he wanted to come all the way from Valencia and paint in Buffalo wasn't just the opportunity to do this mural, but he was aware of the museum and its legacy and its collection. And he knew that he wanted his work to be in dialogue with that collection. And Felipe is an artist you're going to see later when I get into our current exhibition at the museum. And then next to him on the right, this is the work of Maya Hayek, another globally celebrated mural artist. She has murals all over the world. She's based in Brooklyn. And this is on a building at D'Youville's campus on the west side. So if our first kind of tenet of how we think about public art is kind of these curatorial-led projects, artists that we want to bring to the region. The second one that we think about is direct community. Now, all of our projects in public art, every single one of them, is community driven, and we meet and work with our community partners for every project. But some we work very hard to make sure we get the hands of the community directly involved in. This is a mural that's on Niagara and Jersey Street on the west side. It was painted by the artist Betsy Casañas. She's based in Philly. We brought her to Buffalo because she is really an expert in a very specific type of mural making called polytab. So what you're seeing in the image on the left is the mural. Polytab is a fabric that we can paint on. And then on the right, you will see it gets installed on the wall almost like wallpaper. So essentially, we paint the entire mural in a building or in a studio, and then we take it out, and using essentially a clear acrylic paint, we adhere it to the wall. What is really amazing about this, and what the picture on the left is actually from, this is from a workshop we had in the downtown Central Library, where we were inviting the community to directly come into the space and paint the panels. So we had school groups, we had senior citizen groups, we had all kinds of people come in and actually be able to put paint onto the fabric themselves, and really kind of build some ownership over this mural. And then we took it out to Niagara and Jersey, and we installed it on the wall. And that final result is this. Polytab is an awesome project. We do at least one very big version of this every year. We currently have one happening. It is done in partnership with Stitch Buffalo, which is located on the west side. And we have all kinds of public paint days happening right now. So if you're interested in that, you can just go on the buffaloakg.org website, and you will be able to find information about our public paint days and things. And we will be installing another polytab mural in just a couple months. Something else, another tenet we really think about. So we think about our curatorial artists we want to bring in. We think about our community projects. The museum historically is global facing, which means that it doesn't deal a ton with local artists. When we started thinking about public art, and myself being a local born and raised person, this was really important to me. But engaging with local artists, this is an opportunity where we can produce with our local contingency, and for those that don't necessarily have the skills, we can teach them. A really important part of our program has essentially been bringing in these kind of global experts, but hiring local assistants, artists from the region, and having them work with us and work with those global and national artists to really learn the skills that it takes to go from working in your studio on a canvas to a 10-story building. This project here in this photo is called Cobblestone Commons. And this is a project that we did down by the arena. It happened over the course of 2 summers. It was kind of in that COVID era. And this is a project where we had 12 artists, some local, some national, but all fairly early career artists. And a lot of these people on this wall, this was their first mural. And 16 by 20 feet doesn't sound crazy, and it doesn't look all that big. But believe me, when you have to paint a wall that is 16 by 20 for the first time in your career, it is a very daunting task. So we have a lot of local artists on this wall. Our program in general is about 50% local. And that's something we're really proud of, is keeping that number like that. And this is another local artist. You can see actually Monet started with us. She is the end panel, the panel all the way to the left next to the Cobblestone Commons sign. That is a local artist named Monet Kiffner. This was the first mural she had ever done. And then she actually returned a couple summers later and she did this mural with us in Allentown. And you could see just, from what she learned on the first mural, being able to expand her practice, go bigger, a little more complex, really engaging with the architecture. And Monet is an awesome example. I think she was 24 years old the first time we painted with her. And now as we've seen her career blossom both as a fine artist, but also as an illustrator. And she's doing illustrations for the New Yorker and for book covers for famous authors and things like that. So really, really exciting to be able to work with our local artists and help to give them a skill set and a platform that they might not otherwise have. And not everything we do is murals. Excuse me. When we started the program, there wasn't a ton of public art happening in Western New York. So initially, when we were first promoting this idea, we are a public art initiative. That means murals, sculpture, performative, temporary, all kinds of artwork. But it took a while to build some trust. And it's understandable, right? If you don't know me or you don't know some of my cohorts, asking to come and paint all over your property with an artist you may or may not have ever heard of can be a kind of intimidating endeavor. So when we started, murals became very popular. After we did the first few murals, we got a lot of calls for more murals. And for a few years, for many years, actually, the program was really mural heavy. Part of that is also the expense. Sculpture tends to be much more expensive. But it is something that we remain committed to. We really love it. The image on the right is Robert Indiana. That's a series of Robert Indiana's numbers that we had down at Wilkerson Point. Those were out there for about 2 years. They coincided with an Indiana retrospective that we had here at the museum. And then on the left is the work of a local artist, Shasti O'Leary Sudant. This is in the Allen Street subway station. It's an incredible sculpture. It's as vibrant as it looks in this image. It is so vibrant in person, and it really kind of takes over that space. It's really incredible. This is another kind of sculptor that we worked with. This is a project I was really proud of. We've been lucky enough to work with a lot of partners in the region, including both of the Frank Lloyd Wright properties. So we did a project at the Darwin Martin House. And then this was a project that we did at the Graycliff Estate. This was the work of Sarah Brayman. She's a New York-based sculptor. And Sarah does these sculptures that engage with kind of space and colored glass and give a bit of like reverence to these domestic themes that are often kind of overlooked or forgotten. Um, so Sarah's work kind of has a lot in common with what Frank Lloyd Wright was thinking about in his architecture, yet the final version obviously is very, very different. So we were really lucky to be able to do this project where we place these large-scale monumental concrete pieces, like you see on the right, outside the house on the grounds at Gray Cliff. And then also we're able to place these Sarah's smaller interior works throughout the house in direct conversation with the Frank Lloyd Wright architecture. A really amazing program, and we love when things come together like that. And then this kind of leads me to what we have happening now. We are celebrating our 10th anniversary, which is really kind of wild to think that we're that far along. To celebrate the 10-year anniversary, we have a few things happening. The first is the exhibition that Dennis had mentioned. It is called Hi-Vis. And the show is not every artist that we've worked with, but it's a survey show of a lot of the artists that we've worked with in the program. I said earlier that you would see Felipe Pantone, that really bright piece on the back of Town Ballroom again. So in this image on the left, both the painting in the right back side of that photo and this kinetic sculpture in the middle of the room, those are both Felipe Pantone. And that's really the thesis of this show, is bringing some of this really great studio work from our artists that are only known to our audiences as public art artists into the museum. And very similar to the program, we have artists that are global, national, and local. And it's really something special to see that, where you have a very, very well-known global artist hanging next to a local artist, and them having that dialogue, right? Because our local artists deserve that respect and attention as well. Along with the exhibition, oh, sorry, and just to mention, the show is up for a few more weeks. It is on until June 9th. So if you have an opportunity, it is the entire top floor of the new Gunlock building. And there are a few also big site-specific installations throughout the museum that are also done by our public art artists. I'm one of the curators, so I'm very biased, but it is an awesome show, and the work is really broad. So there's something for everybody in it. Along with the exhibition, we're very happy to publish the book that you see on the left. It's Hi-Vis, 10 Years of Public Art at the Buffalo AKG Art Museum. The book has some essays from myself and Aaron Ott, our curator of public art, and Eric Jones, our manager of public art projects, and also our director, Yanni Sarin. But it also, what I'm so happy about with the book is that it actually documents all of the projects and all of the artists from the first 10 years. So every single project we did is in the book. It is photo heavy. It is really quite nice, and that's a very important record that I'm glad is available now out in the world. Along with the book and the exhibition, we also have a film, Hi-Vis, 10 Years of Public Art, that was originally screened here, and it has been showing on WNED PBS. And is also picked up for some national release on PBS. And it is also available for anybody listening today. It is available on the Buffalo AKG YouTube. So you can go and you can watch that film. And it's really incredible. We have a very talented documentarian, Jeff Mace, who works with us at the museum. And he has been diligently documenting all of these projects for almost the entirety of the program. So he made an incredible film out of it, and we are very, very happy to have it. And again, that's available on the Buffalo AKG YouTube page. And then we've had a bunch of programs that have been happening in the run of the show. Just a few weeks ago, we had this incredible hip hop and Hi-Vis event where we had Adrice Wajed, an artist that's in the show and who's local to Buffalo, along with Billy Esco and Tony Boy, two local musicians, basically curate an evening celebrating the history of Buffalo hip hop, and that was really fun. I wanted to bring attention to this program though. This is happening this week. Ellen Rutt is a awesomely talented painter based in Detroit. She came some years ago and did a mural with us, and she is in the Hi-Vis exhibition. But we're inviting her back, and on Saturday, Ellen will be completing a large-scale performative canvas on the Great Lawn at the museum. So you can come to the Buffalo AKG on Saturday. And she'll be out there all day. I think it's 100 feet long, this canvas that she's planning on executing. And her work really stems from research. Her canvas goes with her, it travels with her. She takes it to sites that are interesting to her. She does rubbings at those sites. She makes notes. She uses the soil and the earth from those sites. And then she kind of takes all of that information, that research information, and executes the final painting on top of it. So that's kind of the process that she's in right now. And then Saturday she will be doing the final painting. If it's pouring rain, we'll do it on Sunday. But she works even if it's sprinkling. She'll be happy to be out there. That program is free. It is. If you are in the area, please stop by. You can watch it from the Great Lawn for free. You can watch it from our great staircase for free. Or with admission, I think the most incredible view of it will be from up above in our galleries from the Hi-Vis show, looking down at the Great Lawn and seeing this from above. We're really excited to be hosting that. So yeah, that's a little bit about our Hi-Vis exhibition. We really hope that the folks come and check it out the last few weeks. It is really a special experience. Thanks.
Zach, thank you very much. That was a good overview. And folks, put your questions in if you have some. I'm curious, it's one thing to see the final product. Of the negotiations that have to happen to have a place to put this final product. Are they for a certain time period on a house? Are there agreements made so that better see them now because they won't be there after X date? How does that work? What type of arrangements do you have, with the owners of the property as well as the artist?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a big question. It's 80% of what I do every day, all day. Every project is totally different. It really is. We have a kind of a running list of properties that we're interested in, walls that we're interested in, buildings, spaces. We have a lot of folks that reach out to us and say they have a building they have a space that they would like to do something in. And then we also separately have kind of a running list of artists that we're interested in working with. And our job as the curators is really to kind of find when that artist and that site make sense together. And then we work with everyone we need to. Sometimes it is just the property owner. A lot of the time, most of the time, it's the property owner, the block club, whatever kind of community representation is in the area. And we do that process. And then when we execute the work for a mural, for example, we use the best materials there are. And we consider those projects long-term temporary. Meaning that in our kind of contractual conversations, we ask the property owner to leave it there for a minimum of 5 years. That said, we use materials that we hope to get 10 years out of the mural. And if you look at some of our earliest ones that are now 10 years old, they actually still look really, really good. Sometimes we do a little bit of touch up, but in general, the idea is that they will eventually start to age out and we'll either replace them with a new mural or they'll get painted over. Or yeah, long-term temporary is the phrase we use for those.
And then no outside structure stands alone. I mean, there's neighbors, there's uh, people around it, the public? How much other approval do you need from beyond the owner?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. We obviously have a great working relationship with the city. And so if there's city property nearby, they're always up to date on what we're doing. Um, for the most part, we produce artwork, right? So we don't do advertising of any type. We can't legally. And we also don't do, we don't do signage and things that have restrictions under city code. So for the most part, it is more about just keeping folks informed, having them be part of the conversation. But really, as long as we're working on private property, the arrangement is between us and the property owner.
So you don't have to get the across the street neighbor to agree to it or disagree. You
We don't have to. I mean, I will say,
you want to
we
do that. You
yeah,
wanna
we
go-
try to involve everyone in the conversation, and most of the time, more times than not, communities really welcome having
That's
this
good to
kind
hear.
of work happen in
That's
in
good to hear.
your
All
neighborhood.
right, let's see what kind of questions we have. Joy, are you monitoring that?
I am. And first I want to share something. Can you see what I just shared on my screen?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
So I don't know, Zach, do you remember this? This was one of the first really
yeah,
temporary tape art here on the downtown central building that Albright Knox and the county made happen. It was really short. I think it was only up for a couple of weeks.
yeah.
But I want to remind you, as a partner with everyone, that the library would love for Albright Knox to come back and use one of our canvases on this building for something more permanent. We love looking at the flowers on,
Yep.
I guess that's Washington, and then behind us, the apartments on Clinton Street have a mural, but we're
Yep.
smack in the middle and we just have this gorgeous canvas. So that's
Yeah,
all I
and,
wanted
and
to.
yeah, and like I was pointing at with a few of those things, I mean, like I said, we've got over 80 projects now, way too much to try to show in a short talk, but the library has been a very long time partner from the get-go, a big supporter of us. We really appreciate it, both in terms of hosting projects like the one you just showed, but also allowing us to use the space to
Right.
execute some of those community projects. And yeah, we would definitely not be have been able to execute a lot of our projects without our friends of the library. So very thankful for that.
So we have two questions. Someone is writing, is the new book available for purchase for people who don't live in Buffalo? So can they grab that online? You want to give
Yeah,
your
yeah.
website?
It is available in our shop, but it's a national release book, so you can just jump on Amazon or Target or any other bookseller, and you should be able to find it. Yeah, so it's available all across the country.
Okay. And then there's a question, and this is not necessarily your public art, but I know Albright recently closed an exhibit with, I'm going to say, oil paintings that was in honor of 514.
Yeah.
What happens to those paintings? Do they go in the archives of Albright? Do they travel? Do the artists get them back?
Just like I was saying, like a public art project, everything is different. Every exhibition is different, so that this doesn't carry over necessarily to something else. In the case of that show, before and after again, Julia Bottom's paintings done in connection with Tiffany Gaines and Jillian Hainsworth. I just want to make sure everybody gets their credit on that one. Great show. Those paintings are back with Julia. And the idea being not that they should or shouldn't be in a collection. We think that there is some strong possibility of Julia showing that body of work as a body of work moving forward in other spaces in the country. And as a local artist, Julia is somebody we've worked with a lot, but we are happy to champion on a bigger stage. So I don't have the full details of where that's at, but that is currently the plan is helping her show that exhibition more broadly.
Wonderful. And I will say that Julia Bottoms has a mural at our Leroy Coles Library in the meeting room space. She has done a mural. And you mentioned Jillian Hainsworth. A week from Thursday, Jillian will be at the Downtown Central Library. These are all just tying in, right?
Yeah.
Downtown Central Library, I want to say it's 6 o'clock with a spoken words free program. I do have one final question, and the person wasn't sure if they missed it or not, but did you give the hours of Albright Knox? Open
I did
hours.
not. The museum is open on Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday, and Sunday. So basically every day, except we're closed Tuesday and Wednesdays. And the museum is open from 10 to 5 all of those days, except for Friday, where we are open later until 8. All of that's available on the website. You know, it's not too hard to find. So
Dennis,
Okay.
that's all we've got. Thank you.
Troy, thanks. Good wrap up and good way to connect the library on an ongoing basis, to say the least. I'm Zach, let me give another plug because this book, Hi-Vis, is a work of art in itself. The way it's put together is, this is not your normal softback type of book. You want to comment on that? It's really well done.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you can open it up. Yeah, I mean, like I said, what was important for us was to have some kind of document that really showed every project and every artist. Again, like I started this conversation with, we're an artist first organization. We want every artist to get their just due. And on top of that, because we're public art and we're out all over the place, kind of a inspiration for that book were field guides, right? Like the kind of heavy soft cover books you would maybe take outdoors for bird watching or tree identifying. So we looked at a lot of those to help with the layout, and the book really kind of follows that. But beyond that, I really have to give some props. We have an amazing publications team here at the museum, and they did an absolutely incredible job helping bring those little ideas we had into that final product that you have. Yeah.
No, great. All right, and one other for the audience, you had a great article in the Buffalo News Sunday, March 9th, and folks can get a good summary of what's going on and try to make the exhibit before it does close down. That was the whole goal of this particular show, to get this in before it did, not after the fact. So Zach, thank you very much. It's again, a one-of-a-kind program in the country. So think of that, where you have this relationship of public art, the museum here, the premier museum, with the city, working with the city and county, and trying to get half the works of art from local artists. It doesn't get much better than that as a unifying type of project. So I'm proud of it, certainly, and I know all the folks at the AKG are, and I hope the community is proud of that fact. It kind of goes back to Shark Girl, the canal side, and I'm sure it'll continue to be current, especially with this year. I don't know if you're doing anything with the 200th of the Erie Canal. Is there any art project?
Not directly, but we're happy to, always help celebrate other
Well,
things.
it's getting late in the day to be doing it for the 200th, but it'll be our public meeting spot. So I'll also mention, as a docent, I have to give a plug for the 2:15 rather, Saturday public tour that I usually give, and it's called Seeing Beauty in the Abstract, and invite folks to join us on that tour. Get a ticket at the AKG if you're not a member, and have fun with that. People seem to like it. I've been doing it for some time. So Zach, thanks again, and we will see you folks. Thank you for joining us. Let's see, for next week, we've got Dr. Gail Burstein, the Commissioner of Erie County Department of Health. We're going to check up on the wellness of the residents of Erie County from the commissioner herself. So thanks for joining us today. Hope to see you next week. I'm Dennis Galucki. Be well and good day.